Everyone, welcome back to Those Fake Nerds. I'm your host, Brian, and I want to talk a little bit about difficulty. Hollow Knight, Silksong, is out, and it is bringing back the age old debate of difficulty in games. And I'm going to say this straight up, I'm probably not going to play this game. One, I'm not like a huge fan of the style of games. And two, I didn't play the first Hollow Knight. And three, if it is really, really difficult, that doesn't make me want to play it. But ultimately, that's fine. I personally do think that games should be what their creators intended them to be. And if the creators intended the game to be difficult as an inherent part of the experience, then the game should be difficult. I think that complaining about it, well, I get it. People want to engage with it. You have two options, right? You can either slam your head against the wall, try to complete it, practice and get better at it, or, you know, just wait for other people to beat it and kind of absorb the game through Let's Plays or lore videos. I get like, okay, people want to experience it, but they want it on their own terms of difficulty. I do think that in some ways that takes away from what the artistic intent behind the game can be. It's like, you watch a very long movie and you're like, I wish this was shorter because I don't want to watch this for so long. It's difficult to get through the movie because it's such a long movie. And at one point, that's fine, but if you don't want to engage with it, you just want to know what the story was. You can always watch recaps or read it, on Wikipedia, or just sit through it if you really, really desperately want it enough. Not everything is for everyone. And while that's not great to hear, I think that's just, it is what it is. An example of this is kind of Kingdom Come Deliverance. So, when that game first came out, the original Kingdom Come Deliverance, I heard a lot of people say in the reviews, this game is incredibly difficult. And the combat is very unforgiving. And I thought, well, I probably don't want to play it. And then when Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 came out and I just saw the type of game it was, I was like, I'm going to try this. And I tried it. And yeah, the combat was very difficult. But I just wanted to experience the story and the world that I kind of just pushed through. And I learned and I got better at it. And by the end, the combat's a lot easier because of the different equipment, your experience, and different types of strikes you have, like the Master Strike. And I did feel quite accomplished when I finished it. But it's because that world and that style of game was something I really wanted. Do I think that I could learn Hollow Knight, Silksong, and get better at it? Yeah, I do think I could. But I don't really like that type of game. I don't really play platforming games other than sometimes Crash Bandicoot, though I haven't played that in years since the PS4 version came out. It's just not something I'm necessarily into. But I want to go over to IGN, and they have an article by Wesley Yin Poole titled Criticism Isn't Hate. Hollow Knight Silksong sparks debate about difficulty runbacks in the dreaded Get Good comments. With Hollow Knight Silksong's huge launch in full swing, community debate about its qualities and flaws has gone back and forth, with some players insisting that criticism about things like the game's difficulty are valid and shouldn't be instantly dismissed as hate. Silksong launched over 6 years ago after it was announced amid huge excitement, and early indications are that it's a critical and commercial success. In time of this article's publication, the Steam concurrent player count was over 500,000, with English language users sat on a very positive rating. However, as more players work their way through the game, some are expressing criticism across social media, subreddits, discords, and Steam reviews. Most of this criticism revolves around Silksong's difficulty scaling, which is causing players problems and brutal runbacks. There's even one very early mini-boss causing a lot of players a whole heap of trouble as well. Quote, is it just me, or are some of these things that make Silksong difficult just cruel? Wondered Redditor Mackie Otto. The game has artificially inflated difficulty in playtime due to overturned numbers and menial tasks run back, reads a post on Steam. It's the reaction to these sorts of criticisms that have sparked a debate within the gaming community. Take the Steam post, for example. Maybe you just got older and your skills have declined, is the first response. It's okay that Silksong is hard, declared Redditor Jack D. Map in a thread upvoted 1,400 times. It's also getting old seeing that every other post online about this game is someone complaining about difficulty, especially when there are so many incredible things to talk about, like the quest system and the new mechanics. The amount of love Team Cherry put into the game is insane, and you can feel it when you play. I wish people would get over the fact that it's challenging because there's nothing you can do about it other than get better. The game is finally out, and it's hard just like the original. I personally love the mechanics, are so different and require a lot of learning again, because after playing hundreds of hours of Hollow Knight, I didn't want to just breeze through Silksong. I think we just need to realize that the game is the way it is, and cherish these early days with a very special piece of art. It's okay to get frustrated, but don't make those feelings overshadow how great of an experience this game is. The sentiment has pushed the debate even further, with some players pushing back against get good and skill issues comments to insist that it's perfectly fine to point out flaws in Silksong, however beloved and important a release it may be. So that goes on, and you can go over to IGN, read the rest of it. I actually implore that you do. Again, that is their criticism isn't hate. Hollow Knight Silksong sparks debate about difficulty run back in the dreaded get good comments by Wesley Ian Poole, posted September 7th, 2025. And I just think that it's difficult, right? Because video games are like a space that kind of invites lots of different people and different skill sets, especially when like lore videos are so prevalent and people want to try them. But not every game is meant to have difficulty sliders. When they are included, I think that's equally great. The Last of Us had a ton of accessibility options, including the ability for people who are visually impaired to play it, and I think that's great. But I also think that like games like this, if that's their intent to be this difficult, should be allowed to be difficult. And I mean, you shouldn't like make fun of people who aren't able to play it and play it well, but for the people who aren't able to, it's unfortunate, but there are other ways to get the storyline and all of that. So ultimately, what are your thoughts on this? Do you agree with me? Maybe I'm completely off base. Maybe every game should have difficulty sliders. Let me know your thoughts about that in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. Check out the main channel, Look at Everything, and our podcasting channel, Better Radio. And I will see you in the next one.